Big up all the subscribers, everyone that likes, comments and shares. Big up all the coffee and tea drinkers, Tottenham supporters. Do you know, it does my lighting. I can't even say what the fans are. Yeah, I don't know if I can say what we call ourselves. Yeah, look it up. Look up what the Tottenham fans call themselves. I'm not even sure if I get in trouble for it, but it's said with a love and affection. So I'll just keep saying the mighty Lily Whites. Sundays, man, I hate Sundays, mate. I woke up with a raving arm. I had to come in here and do this video just to chill out and calm down, man. Just for no reason as well. I could feel myself just getting yumped for nothing, you know what I mean? So, this don't help, this don't chill me out, mate. Why do I support these? Nothing but disappointment for 38 years, man. Oh, R.I.P. No, he's alive, isn't he? When you show fear in jail, yeah, it's the wrong move. You don't want to do it. If you do it, one person, if someone sees it, they'll go and tell everyone else, and then everyone's going to take liberties out of you. You don't want that when you're banged up. It's a tiny little environment. It's a micro environment. It's exactly the same. It's a mirror image of how things are on road, but it's just compressed. Yeah, you can't go like it's the same emotions. You find the same things funny. You don't like the same people. This, that. It's all the same things, but it's compact. And geezers turn into gossips as well. I think everyone does, but geezers turn into right gossip, and it's like Chinese whispers. You know what I mean? So even if someone did show a bit of fear, you know, Chinese whispers. By the time the old wing knows about it, this geezer was on his knees, start bollock naked. You know what I mean? Crawling about like a dog or something. Ridiculous. Total lie. Something that isn't true. You know. So it's best just to try and firm it, innit? To try and front it out. To try and well, because nothing's ever as bad. I've said this so many times. Nothing is as ever as bad. Push that back a little bit. Top of my big square head keeps coming out of it. So I can't do no shorts, man. I go to make a short after it, and my head's like just disappeared. Yeah, man. Like that's why it is best to try and firm it, because nothing is ever as bad as the thought in your head. Fear is. I'm the world worst of it. Yeah, God forbid I'm trying to not pretending I'm sitting here like I'm the biggest and the baddest and the bravest. No. I'm a thief, not a fighter, mate. I've been, you know, everyone's won the more fights than they've lost, didn't they? Everyone has won more than they've lost, but I've lost my fair share. I've been knocked spark out a few times. This is probably deservedly so, karma and all that. But nothing is ever as bad as what you think, ever. Nothing is ever as bad. Once it's done, even if it was a terrible experience, like when it was happening to you, afterwards you think, oh, what was I thinking? It's always true, isn't it? You always think. Like the fear of something holds you back, basically, right? Fear of getting a slap, this, that, blah, blah, blah. No one can remember pain anyway. No one can remember it. I broke my leg a couple of times. I broke every single finger in my hand. Like I broke my leg, my eye socket. You can't remember pain. Your brain blocks it out, yeah. Because otherwise, every time you thought back to the time I was 5 and I broke my leg, I burst into tears. Your brain blocks that out, so you can't remember it anyway. So even if you get a slap or something, you're not going to remember it. And at the time, your adrenaline's going and all that. You're not going to feel it. Listen, getting right into it now as if I will challenge anyone. I won't. I really won't. I'm just saying, probably more to myself as I'm looking into the camera, saying it to myself. Your thoughts are always worse in your head than what they are in reality. But that's a different thing. Showing fear when you're banged up is the wrong move. You need to sort things out straight away. Otherwise, things are just going to escalate. I mean, I've been mugged off in jail. I've mugged people off. I'll tell both sides of the coin. See, the first when I mug someone off, geezer in the Ville, I think it was D-Wing, back in the day anyway. You should have C-Wing and D-Wing was behind it, or was it B? I think it was like that. But anyway, D-Wing, right? I'm on D-Wing, I think. There was a kid on there. That kid, he was a kid, he was a man. And we a couple of times he'd say, if you're going to do a £25 thing or something, like pay someone £25 and they give you a bit of weed or whatever. He was getting like short things, like he was paying 25 quid and getting like saying that he'd pay a fiver for. So I'm thinking, me, yeah, shouldn't be judging anyone. And again, this is all just my experiences from being in there, things I've seen, things I've heard, and I'm only giving you my opinion on it. Yeah, what do I know, right? I'm not an expert at anything. Expert? How can you be an expert in dealing with this? But anyway, in my head, I'm thinking, what am I? Letting people rip him off left, right, and centre. That's what I'm thinking. My stupid, scummy way of thinking back then was, oh yeah, what am I? I'm gonna have him over now. So, you know, hello mate, put your arm around him, sort of like become his mate for a week until canteen day comes or whatever. Just keep subliminally dropping messages about tobacco into his head, blah 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 blah, this, that, that. Have you got one? I ain't got none. This, that, blah blah blah. Dropping hints about things that I'm getting up to, you know, money that I can earn in here. It's all waffle. It's all absolute bull. I don't know if he's lapping it up. He's pretending he's lapping it up. You know what I mean? He's probably just happy to have a friend. You know what I mean? I'm taking full advantage. Shouldn't have. Yeah, but just saying what I was doing. Again, I've said this in other videos. We should take tobacco off. Back in there, back before it was like the smoking ban come in. I call tobacco burn anyway. Everyone calls it burn in jail. Right, so if you tick burn off someone, you got to pay them double back the week next week. Yeah, double bubble they called it. Right, or some people do time and a half, few and far between, but usually it's double bubble, right? So I'm working him up. I'm like hitting him up all week. It's like just dropping little stories into his head about this, that. If it comes to the week or end of the week or whatever, Saturday morning, you know, canteen was Friday night. So whatever I didn't pay out Friday night, I've just worm my way around the wing, paying it all out. Got nothing. Always the way. Now I'm talking to my man. Basically, like, it's just a quarter at first, isn't it? A quarter, so a ½ ounce pack, cut in half, right? 12.5 gram pack, cut in half, quarter. So it's not actually a quarter, is it? But it's what we call it. ½ ounce, isn't it? 12.5 ain't really ½ ounce, but so I take a quarter off him. Tell him I'm paying back ½ ounce next week. What I'll do come next week is, and I'm hitting him up all throughout the week for other little bits and bobs anyway. He's cut the ½ ounce in half, pull out a load of it, basically give him like a quarter back of give him basically the same or even a little bit less even of what he give me, but just fluff it out and put it into the two packs that I've just cut in half, come from one pack. Most people wouldn't have this, mate. You know what I mean? Well, what are you doing? What are you giving to me like that for? Burn's burn. Like if you say, "Look, listen, he owed me a quarter and he owed me a quarter," there you go. But if you give it to someone and they go, "Hold on a minute, nothing in it," you know what I mean? But I'm doing it to him. I'm doing it to him all the time, and I'm doing it for more and more and more, and he knows, because the more I'm doing it, the less I'm giving him back anyway. And yeah, bully, scum. But that's because he didn't stick up for it. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. You know what I mean? You've got to stick up for yourself, but it's not his fault. I was just taking advantage of someone that was clearly weaker, and I was a scumbag for doing it. Absolute wrong 'un. Aylesbury, when it happened to me. Aylesbury, right? I hadn't been in there long. I hadn't been in there long at all. I was a bit still a bit green to it, or even though I'd been it's my second time I'd been in by the time I landed to Aylesbury, and I'd been in for about 6, 7, 8 months by the time I got to Aylesbury. Still a different environment there. Like I've said it before, the kids there there was no loyalty in that jail. Maybe it was different back in the day before, maybe it's different now, but back then everyone was a pad thief, everyone was having each other over, everyone was acting like the kids that we was, yeah. Then I still do drum and bass, and you buy them in tape packs, yeah, or a CD pack. So you open up the pack, like a box set, but it'd be cassettes or CDs, yeah. Kid on there from Birmingham Manchester, sorry. He was from Manchester, right? Essex boys, from my experience, Essex boys, Manchester boys, Birmingham boys, Leicester boys, and probably there's some more in between. Listen to drum and bass, yeah? And they're very few and far between on the wing. So when you do hear someone listen to it, you think, oh, and they're the same, because then most people like listen to like the rap and all that, yeah. We all do as well. But if you hear someone drum, say, oh yeah, mate, I've been on 10 wings before I've met someone else that listens to it. Can we swap and all that, yeah? So, geezer come up for me, Manchester, massive, yeah. He looked like a man, right? Not making it. Well, this was the only reason that was like, yeah, I was probably the only reason I let him mug me off. I was acting like a coward. Do you know what I mean? He was big, massive. You know what I mean? He was doing a wreck for he obviously killed someone, but that wasn't why I was intimidated. Like, every other person was in there for doing that, but fuck, he was massive, yeah, and I was just acting like a cowardly little skinny teenager that I was. Anyway, can I borrow that, mate? Yeah, boom, go lend it to him. He's listening to it all the time. I've gone to ask it back. I don't know, he's had it for like a week, and he's gone, I'm still listening to it, right? And I've gone, all right, mate, and I've just walked off like a plum, yeah? Every single time I ask for it, I'm still listening to it. All right, mate. And I walk off like a plum. This go on for a month or whatever, and I'm just letting him just mug me off. And he's like, "Oh, you only asked for a CD back, but do you think no one else knew that he was just mugging me off? All his neighbours would have known, wouldn't they?" That led to someone else taking something out my cell, one of his pals, because they thought I was an idiot, and I had to obviously have a fight, have a tear up then to stop it. And then I got the CD back, and it all happened as easy as that. And like I said at the beginning, it's always in your head that it's terrible and it's the worst. Nothing happened. I just kept asking him about it. He kept telling me no. I kept building it up in my head. Oh, if I try and get it back, he's gonna beat me up. But ultimately, because I didn't, someone else took something out myself, and I had to stick up for myself. And then boom, I got it back anyway. I've done the video about getting robbed in Pentonville, when the boys come up behind me and was trying to get what I had. Yeah, they didn't get it, right? There's nothing I could really do at the time. There was loads of them on me, but I didn't let them get anything, right? Fought back, right? If this was back in the Cole from the Aylesbury days, maybe I wouldn't have fought back and just took it like, oh yeah, let them have me trousers down. In quite literally speaking, let them have me trousers down. Because I was fighting for them not to do that. Yeah. Probably would have let them do that if that was the teenage skinny version. Would have let them completely mug me off. But I didn't, and it didn't even escalate from there either. Right. I've stuck up for myself in the cell. Right. Now I'm hunting around the ring and gonna do whatever. Right. Someone else found out, like I've sort of explained it. My cellmate found out, and it all got squashed from talking. Yeah, but ultimately I stuck up for myself. They knew I stuck up for myself, and they knew I weren't an idiot. And after he spoke, we become sort of like, yeah, all right, nodding at each other every day and all that. Yeah, that wouldn't have happened if I'd have just let them take what I'm taking. And my cellmate would have been like, what? He let him. You let him have that. He'd have probably been up there just splitting what they just took off me or whatever. You know what I mean? And rightly so. You got to stick up for yourself. Yeah. That's about it. I've give you a version of me getting mugged off. I don't want to keep. I don't want to try and pretend. Like I said, I don't want to pretend that I was sort of some sick gangster running around on the wing, mugging loads of people off and getting away with it. It happened to me as well. If you enjoyed that, hit subscribe and we'll chat again. Adios.